Alright, everybody. I think there's like a delay in the sound. I'm just gonna turn the volume down on my speaker so I'm not hearing a repeat of everything I say. Alright, but this is the live stream, animation stream that I've been putting out. Last time I tried to have audio, but I think because I was trying to stream on Facebook and YouTube at the same time, the sound didn't come through, so you couldn't really hear anything I said. But on the first episode, I animated this character walking out, and then I started to do the rough outline of another character, but I had to do a podcast, and I left, and I didn't finish it. So hopefully I'll finish this other character today, or at least the inking. So I drew like a bunch of sketches of that. Let's see what frame am I on. I basically did the rough draft for this second character over here, who's eating a grilled cheese sandwich as he's walking out. So I'm gonna be doing, man, I said so much in the last stream, and but the sound didn't come through, and it's so okay. So I'm like, okay, now I gotta say all this stuff again, and I can't remember what I said. But the sound didn't come through, and it's so okay. So I'm like, okay, now I gotta. But basically, I talked about how I do like the keyframes first, and I figure out where is each foot being put down, and then I go back and I draw all the frames in between. Like I just draw all the footsteps, and then do the frames in between. So let's see. It looks like I made this foot hovering above the ground. So I gotta fix that. Still kind of hovering here. But this is only a sketch. I've noticed that it's kind of hard to do a tutorial like this and not automatically fall into this very low Bob Ross type of voice. His head is really big. Very low Bob Ross type of voice. His head is really big. I'm just kind of trying to reorient myself with where I left off last time. So basically, I'm trying to get him to walk and stop at this red circle, because I was trying to make the animation have like a good photographic look, and I was watching videos about photography just to get some good pointers on how to photograph the scenery. That's another thing I've got to talk about. So basically, for the backgrounds of this cartoon, I made this 3D city using a program called Blender, because when you draw the backgrounds by hand, it just takes forever, and you have to draw all the camera angles. If I want the camera to be, you know, this distance, I've got to draw all this by hand, and then if I want to zoom in for a second, I got to draw that zoomed in. So basically, I thought it would be faster if I used the 3D program to make all the backgrounds, and I can just move the camera around my 3D city and just take as many photographs as I need, and I was hoping that would speed up the process. But it took me like 3 years to make the city, so I was learning everything from scratch, so
3 years to make the city, so
that's probably,
I was learning
now that I know how to do all this stuff, hopefully it'll be a bit faster.
That's probably.
But anyway, I was watching photography videos to get some good ideas about how to photograph the city for the backgrounds, and there were some videos that were talking a lot about the movement of the lines and how they should direct your eye to where the characters stop. So I just kind of drew some circles where the characters would be, and I erased the circle where this guy stops, but this guy's gonna stop here. So that's where I pretty much left off in the last episode, which was without sound. So let's see. So now I want to basically make a couple more footsteps where this character gets down off the stairs, and then he's got to walk over to here.
This character gets down off the stairs, and then he's got to walk over to here.
Hopefully the sound outside isn't too distracting or annoying, because I live on a busy street, and there's just trucks and cars just speeding by constantly. Or the neighbors are fighting, or the dogs are yapping. Anyway. Let's see. This character kind of has like eyes a little bit wider apart. So what I'm doing right now is generally called the pencil test, where you just kind of pencil everything out. Like Disney animators usually have stages where they draw everything in pencil, and then they have an inker to come in and ink the lines over it black, and then they color it in with ink. They actually have another step where like they have one more experienced animator come in and draw like the keyframes, and then they have like a apprentice animator do the in-between shots. So right now I'm doing like the keyframes, and then if I was a professional animator, like my understudy would come in and draw the in-between lines, but I'm not that skilled. Actually, I'm not even sure if Disney does 2D animation anymore. But when I was a kid, I bought, my aunt gave me a program called the Disney Animation Studio, and the manual kind of gave you the rundown of how they operated. So let's see. His shoulder's gonna be back more. Man, the motorcycles are pretty loud today. Why did that look weird? Oh, you know why? Because I didn't... I skipped a frame. So let's see. I like to make the frame before the one I'm drawing blue, and the one after it red when I'm doing frames in between.
The frame before the one I'm doing.
So I kind of get, it's easy to tell,
it's
easy to tell the drawings apart, like which one comes in the future and which one's in the past.
It's easy to tell the drawings apart.
And like
comes in the future and which one's in the past.
The technical term for what you see when you see the frame before and the frame after, like these layers are called onion skin, because like the layers of an onion are kind of translucent, and you can see through them.
Because like the layers of an onion are kind of translucent, and you can see through them.
So basically I want 1 foot on this step, and I forgot to draw, like I need a frame where there's a foot on both of these steps, but I actually kind of forgot to draw it last time. Or maybe I just,
But I actually kind of forgot to draw it last time.
I don't know, I just got confused because I didn't really, it took me a second to figure out what I was doing when I stopped yesterday, or whatever day I recorded the other episode.
What I was doing when I stopped yesterday, or whatever day I.
Now hopefully this should look a bit more smooth.
Now hopefully this should look a bit more smooth.
So let's see. Does that look smoother? Yeah, that's a bit better.
So let's see. Does that look smoother?
Let me zoom in and look at that.
Yeah, that's a bit better. Let me zoom in and look at that.
Kind of looks like this frame. Is this the one I just drew? Yeah.
Kind of looks like this frame. Is this the one I just drew? Yeah.
I made his head the wrong shape.
I made his head the wrong shape.
It almost looks like he's leaning too far to his right.
Almost looks like he's leaning too far to his right.
How do I fix this? Let's make this a little bit smaller.
How do I fix this? Let's make this a little bit smaller.
That's a bit better. Okay.
That's a bit better. Okay.
Hopefully the audio is coming through. If anybody's watching, maybe just let me know if you can hear what I'm saying, because last time the audio didn't even come through at all.
Maybe just let me know if you can hear what I'm saying, because last time the audio didn't even come through at all.
Let me just check the settings. It looks like the
Let me just check the
OBS
settings.
mixer seems to be detecting what I'm saying, but
OBS.
alright, so let's see.
Mixer seems to be detecting what I'm saying, but alright, so let's see.
One of the things I have the most trouble with is drawing feet. And like drawing the appropriate angle that a foot is supposed to be. Like already this foot looks weird. It should be leaning more that way.
Like already this foot looks weird. It should be leaning more that way.
Sometimes I feel like it's best to start with the feet when you're making a character walk over a terrain that's a little bit unlevel, or that's being shot from an angle that isn't typical.
That's being shot from an angle that isn't typical.
Whatever that means. I guess I mean that isn't perfectly horizontal, stage right, stage left.
Whatever that means. I guess I mean that isn't perfectly horizontal, stage right, stage left. Whatever that means. I guess I mean that isn't perfectly horizontal, stage right, stage left.
Alright, let's see. These damn cars keep making all this noise with their motors.
Damn cars keep making all this noise with their motors.
So let's see. How do I want him to... Maybe he'll take his foot will end up here.
How do I want him to...
And then he'll straighten out with his other foot over there.
End up here. And then he'll straighten out with his other foot over there.
Or maybe his foot will be pointing toward the camera so that he's a little bit more straight when his other leg comes down here.
Toward the camera so that he's a little bit more straight when his other leg comes down here.
I always have to make sure I draw in perspective because I tend to just have a very blobby cartoon style, and sometimes I'm not always not always careful about you know, not being a slob when I'm drawing. I kind of feel like this
being a slob when I'm drawing. Careful about. I kind of feel like this. Being a slob when I'm drawing.
This shape should be in the future by 2 panels.
This shape should be in the future.
Delete that.
2 panels. Delete that.
Let's work out the legs first before I move on to the arms. So if this leg, this is his left butt cheek. His thigh would be about here.
His left butt cheek. His thigh would be about here.
And if this were his right butt cheek, this leg would be...
And if this were his right butt cheek, this leg would be...
about like that.
About like that.
See how that looks. I feel like maybe that should be faster.
I feel like maybe that should be faster.
I forgot he's got to be chewing at this while he's walking down these stairs.
I forgot he's got to be chewing at this while he's walking down these stairs.
Chewing might be a little weird for a cartoon character that's as simplistic as this. I'll have to figure out what the frames will look like for that. I might have to do some erasing and move his jaw like further down and do a lot of squashing and stretching. So let's see, if this leg is back, then this arm is going to be back a little bit further.
Then this arm is going to be back.
Because like when you're walking, everyone probably already knows this, but when your left leg is forward, your left arm also swings forward, and when your right foot, when your right foot is forward, your right arm swings forward, and your left foot is forward, your left arm swings forward. So this one's got to be a little bit back. And then this this is the right leg, so this is swinging to the front. So this arm has got to be
to the front,
forward, and I forgot he's carrying a pack of cigarettes.
Carrying a pack of cigarettes.
Let's move his foot up.
Let's move
Let's assume his foot is firmly planted on the ground already.
Let's assume his foot is firmly planted on the ground already.
Okay.
Okay.
Trying to think if he has time to take a bite out of the sandwich before this character snatches the cigarettes out of his hand.
This character snatches the cigarettes out of his hand.
I kind of feel like at some point he should take a bite out of it.
I kind of feel like at some point he should take
I'm just worried that there's too much going on to be able to...
I'm just worried that there's too much going on.
Yeah, I think if he took a bite out of the sandwich right now, it would take the attention, the focus away from this character who's trying to grab the cigarettes out of his hand.
It would take the attention.
Maybe I'll make him take a bite in the next shot.
Grab the cigarettes out of his hand. Maybe I'll make him take a bite in the next shot.
I'm just gonna draw where I kind of feel like he'll be ending up when his body is at rest.
Where I kind of feel like he'll be ending up when his body is at rest.
Something wrong with this.
Something wrong with this.
I think I want to make some space in between these two frames.
I think I want to make some space in between these two frames.
I think this foot is the problem. I drew him putting it too far to the left. If it's going to land here, and the ground is right here, this foot would be going through the ground, and it would be way too far over. So let's see if I can fix this really quick.
Let's see if I can fix this really quick.
Starting to get a little confusing with all the extra onion skin layers.
Starting to get a little confusing with all
that looks a little bit better, I think.
Extra onion skin layers. That looks a little bit better, I think. Extra onion skin layers.
get this foot, or this leg. Let's see, his knee is here, this knee is there. Let's put this knee somewhere around here. His knee is here, this knee is there. Let's put this somewhere around here. Okay, that's not too bad, I guess. Okay, that's not too bad, I guess. So maybe at this point, his head should start to turn and maybe think about taking a bite out of the sandwich. His head should start to turn and maybe think about taking a bite out of the sandwich. His head should start to turn. Why did I make the head that far? Why did I make the head that far? Alright, I'm going to delete this circle because it's starting to get on my nerves a bit. Now that he's kind of at his destination, where I need him to be to interact with this character. Basically, I was, oh man, it's so annoying that the sound didn't record last time because I felt like I explained so much and now I'm just trying to remember all the stuff I said last time, but basically these characters are, their characters are written by a comedian in Connecticut named Pat Oates. Last Monday when I was recording, I kind of said I had to stop so that I could be on a podcast, and that was his podcast that I was on. It's called Pat Oates is Sad. It's on iTunes if you are interested, but if you're in the Connecticut or New England area, you could probably have heard of him, but anyway, he wrote these characters. This is kind of like a teenage alternate universe of him, but his name is Steven. And then when I was drawing this character, he basically said, just draw like a stoner version of yourself. And I'm not a drug user, so I just kind of like drew this character to look like me, sort of. But I'm not a stoner, so it doesn't really act too much like me. But this character's name is Corey. I feel like this happens too quickly. I think I need to slow this down a bit.
I feel like this happens too quickly. I think I need to slow this down a bit.
Yeah. There definitely needs to be something in between these two.
Yeah. There definitely needs to be something in between these two.
Maybe even 3 frames.
Maybe even 3 frames.
Okay.
Okay.
Basically, I want both feet to be on the ground. Or maybe this foot will be up slightly.
Basically, I want both feet to be on the ground. Or maybe this foot will be up slightly.
What am I trying to do here?
What am I trying to do here?
Ugh, I went to the beer store and I bought a Smirnoff ice screwdriver. Ugh. I don't think I'm gonna buy that ever again. It's all sugary and gross.
Ugh. I don't think I'm gonna buy that ever again.
I think I'm gonna stick with beer.
I'm gonna stick with beer.
Does that look weird? Does that look weird? Hope these motorcycles aren't getting picked up on my mic. This microphone does seem to pick up everything though.
Getting picked up on my mic.
This microphone does seem to pick up everything though. I wonder if you can hear the wrestling show my roommate is watching in the other room. I wonder if you can hear the wrestling show my roommate is watching in the other room. I wonder if you can hear the wrestling show my roommate is watching in the other room. So let's see. How does this look? So let's see. How does this look? Maybe the last thing he should do before the shot changes is open his mouth like he's going to take a bite. The last thing he should do before the shot changes is open his mouth like he's going to take a bite. I feel like I've been making his head way too big. I kind of pictured this character being smaller than this character, but I keep drawing his giant head. Way too big. I kind of pictured this character being smaller than this character. But I keep drawing his giant head. I kind of pictured this character being smaller than this character. But I keep drawing his giant head. Did that help a little bit? Did that help a little bit? Kind of want to go back and resize some of these heads too. Kind of want to go back and resize some of these heads too. What does this look like? It's... What does this look like? It's... His face looks a little bit weird. His face looks a little bit weird. Maybe he's not watching wrestling. Maybe he's watching a comedy show. Because I hear funny Mickey Mouse voices happening. Watching a comedy show. I don't think they would talk like Mickey Mouse in a wrestling event. I don't think they would talk like Mickey Mouse in a wrestling event. I don't think they would talk like Mickey Mouse in a wrestling event. That's a bit better, I think. That's a bit better, I think. So let's see. Do I need to fix his nose? So let's see. Do I need to fix his nose? I think I will kind of make him be positioning to take a bite. I think I will kind of make him be hopefully it won't be too much of a distraction from what this character is doing, because that's what needs to be the focus of this shot. But maybe he's just looking. The focus of this shot. Maybe the movements of this one will be so subtle that the flamboyant movements of that character will be. They'll just draw the eye anyway. The flamboyant movements of that character will be. They'll just draw the eye anyway. I'm gonna just take a look at this reference image. I feel like I'm not. I'm gonna just take a look at this reference. Drawing it correctly. I feel like I'm not. Drawing it correctly. Maybe, the cigarette box should be sticking out a little bit. The cigarette box. Another thing Disney animators of old used to do was what is known as the silhouette test,
of old,
where they would want your character to move in such a way that you could tell what the character was doing if it was all covered in black and you couldn't see any detail. You could still be able to get an idea of what it was doing, and that's called the silhouette test, and that's sort of to be used as a guide to how the character should move. So maybe it's better if his hand is kind of outstretched a little bit, so his arms are not obscured by his body. His arms are not obscured by his body. I'm not sure if I like this head. I'm not sure if I like this head. I don't like this. Why don't I like this? I don't like this. Why don't I like this? I don't like the way his body is moving. Is moving. Yeah, I think I don't like the way it's turning as he's moving. Yeah, I think I don't like the way it's turning as he's moving. It's a little too fluid to be human. It's a little too fluid to be human. Hmm. Hmm. I think I'm just gonna erase these two frames. I don't like them. I think I'm just gonna erase these two frames. I don't like them. I think I'm just gonna erase these two frames. Why is this annoying me so much? It looks so rigid. And delete this body too. And delete this body too. So let's see. Let's see. Maybe it's because he's angry. Maybe it's because he's angry. look scared. I look scared. I want his hand to end here, but I don't want it to be here now. I don't want his hand to end here, but I don't want it to be here now. I don't want his hand to end here, but I don't want it to be here now. Delete this arm. Delete this arm. I don't know why this part is frustrating me so much. I don't know why this part is frustrating me so much. I don't like that he keeps looking weird and mechanical. I don't like that he keeps looking weird and mechanical. I also kind of feel like his body should be turned. I also kind of feel like his body should be turned. No, wait. No, wait. I guess it's starting to look a little bit better. Hmm. I'm starting to like the way this looks. Let's make this all red so I can understand what I'm looking at. No, not the whole thing. No, not the whole thing. Hmm. Hmm. Come on. Yarf, yarf. That dog never stops barking. His name is Yip Yaps. That dog never stops barking. His name is Yip Yaps. I hate when I just work on something for a long time and I just like, yeah, it's something I don't like about this. I hate when I just work. I feel like on something for a long time and I just like, yeah, it's something I don't like about this. I feel like there needs to be a little bit more herky-jerkiness. There needs to be a little bit more herky-jerkiness. Let's try this as an experiment. Let's try this as an experiment. What if I double this up? What if I double this up? If I delete this and then triple this up. If I delete this and then triple this up. I kind of like the way that moves a little bit better, but I kind of like the way that moves a little bit better, but wait a minute, where's his nose? Wait a minute, where's his nose? I didn't draw his mouth either? What am I, stupid? I didn't draw his mouth either? What am I, stupid? Alright. Alright. Let's delete this. Let's delete this. Maybe I'll just not use these two. Maybe I'll just... The movements at the last second distract from this other character's movements. The movements at the last second distract from... Yeah, that's probably the best I'm gonna do. Yeah, that's probably the best I'm gonna do. I would still like to use this arm. I would still like to use this arm. Okay, so I gotta do this differently then. Okay, so I gotta do this differently then. Probably should have done lighter sketches instead. Probably should have I started to draw like details and stuff. Done lighter sketches instead. I started to draw like details and stuff. Done lighter sketches instead. Before I figured anything out. Which is something I always do. Which is something I always do. Just start treating stuff like it's set in stone before I even know what's going on. Just start treating stuff like it's set in stone before I even know what's going on. Delete that. Yeah, that looks better. Yeah, that looks better. Why do I have a third layer here? I don't need this. Why do I have a third layer here? I don't need this. Just make sure I didn't... Just make sure I didn't... Alright. Ay, ay, ay. Ay, ay, ay. Alright, yappy dog. We get it. Alright, yappy. You're in a loveless marriage. We get it. You're in a loveless marriage. You're in a loveless marriage. Something weird at the bottom of the stairs. Something weird at the bottom of the stairs. Yeah, maybe not. Yeah, maybe not. Seems like no matter where I live, there's always a yappy dog. Seems like no matter where I live, there's always a yappy dog. Seems like no matter where I live, there's always a yappy dog. So the last place I lived, the dog lived with us, so that dog was kind of my friend. The dog lived with us, so that dog was kind of my friend. But he had his yappy moments. Speaking of which, that reminds me, I have to watch that dog in like a week. Let's see. Let's see. Alright. Make all these. Alright. I'm going to use all these last frames, so I'm just going to make them all black now. Oops. I'm going to use all these last frames, so I'm just going to make them all black now. Oops. I'm going to use all these last frames, so I'm just going to make them all black now. Oops. I'll keep that one red. I'll keep that one red. I wonder if I should move this to that other layer. I wonder if I should move this to that other layer. I'll keep it here for now. Just in case I run into any problems. I'll keep it here for now. Just in case I run into any problems. Alright, so now I have to go back. You know what? Alright, so now I have to go back. You know what? Maybe I should start moving. At least to a different layer. I should start moving. So I can keep track of everything. At least to a different layer. So I can keep track of everything. So now I have to ink in all these sketches. And then I'll do the in-between drawings. And then I'll do the in-between drawings. Alright, I'm gonna lock this layer. Alright, I'm gonna lock this layer. How do I want to do this? Just focusing on the torso and head for now. Just focusing on the torso and head for now. Oh yeah, I forgot if I was gonna make him chewing. Oh yeah, I forgot if I was gonna make him chewing. Oh yeah, I forgot if I was gonna make him chewing. I'm just gonna mark this layer because it looked like it would have been a good spot to have him chew. And then maybe one over here. Somewhere in here. And then maybe one over here. Somewhere in here. Or maybe. I'll have to make his jaw a little bit lower. What the hell? Come on. Make his jaw a little bit lower. What the hell? Come on. Make his jaw a little bit lower. Alright. Oops.
Alright. Oops.
So I know there are only like 2 or 3 people watching, but if there are any questions, you want to know something, I'll be happy to answer it.
If there are any questions,
I just have to check this other screen every once in a while just to see if anybody typed anything in the comments. So it might be a minute or two before I notice.
So it might be a minute or two before I notice.
At least this is the more fun part. Sometimes the coloring and the in-between shots are a little bit more enjoyable because they're a little easier. Whereas figuring out how a two-dimensional character moves about a seemingly 3D world can be a little bit more difficult to figure out. It's more like problem solving and troubleshooting constantly. But this part is just relaxing. Just, yep, I already figured it out. All I gotta do is trace now and make it a little bit neater.
Yep, I already figured it out. All I gotta do is trace now and make it a little bit neater.
Maybe I should make the box of cigarettes in his hand here.
Maybe I should make the box of cigarettes in his hand here.
So let's see, how do I want to do this part? Yeah, I always have problems with feet. I'd like to do some kind of graphic novel of some kind at some point, but I have trouble with cartoon character feet. So if I'm ever going to do a more realistic comic, I'm going to have to do a lot of practicing probably. Because my real people-drawn game is pretty weak at the moment. Oh, not even on the right layer. Let's look at the chewing while he's walking. This has got to be... Let's make a few more indicators. I want the chewing to be more fluid as opposed to just jerky like it was. I'm probably gonna have to redo this. Actually, maybe I should just make an X. Because he's not gonna be, his head's not gonna be in the place where it is now. I'll just make an X here for now to mark off where I need to make his mouth a little more open than. Okay. Delete these yellow lines. Delete these yellow lines. What the hell? Click magnifying glass. What the hell? Click magnifying glass. Hmm. Hey, I'm so sloppy. Hey, I'm so sloppy. I didn't draw any arms on these sketches. Okay, let's see. Maybe that's why it looked a little weird. Okay, let's see. Maybe that's why it looked a little weird. Let me just do this really quick. Let me just do this really quick. I'll draw this frame first. I'll draw this frame first. See how long I've been recording for, or streaming for. See how long I've been recording for, or streaming for. An hour and 46 minutes, I guess. Why does he look angry here? 46 minutes, I guess. Yep. Why does he look angry here? Yep. I kind of made this sandwich just a flat rectangular prism, but there should be cheese in here. Maybe I'll just add that later with a I'll just make a yellow line in between these two. I'll just make a yellow line in between these two. More motorcycles. More motorcycles. Oops. Oh no, how did that, why is that blue? Oops. Oh no, why is that blue? So I'll do this one. I feel like this arm should be approximately where it was. I feel like this arm should be approximately where it was. Because this leg is coming forward. So this leg would be moving back, but his body is moving forward, so it would kind of keep it approximately where it was. So let's see. His other arm should be coming up. Wait a minute. What's up with this arm? I kind of don't like the way this one jerks back like that. Stop it. Let's just make a note here to kind of play around with this arm. Okay, you can delete that, I think. Oh, wait, no. It's just... Okay, you can delete that, I think. Oh, wait, no. It's just... Hmm. Yeah, there's definitely something weird about... Yeah, there's definitely something weird about... Let me fix this now so I don't forget about it later. Let me fix this now so I don't forget about it later. What if I just... What if I just... I'm just gonna delete this arm. I'm just gonna delete this arm. So let's see, how many frames? So let's see. All right. How many frames? All right. How does that look? Oh, it's smoother. Oh, it's smoother. This foot down here, this foot turning kind of bugs me a little bit. Down here, turning kind of bugs me. Maybe that foot pivot should have happened earlier. Maybe that foot pivot should have happened earlier. I forgot I moved these frames up. I almost panicked a little bit because I said, wait, where'd all that stuff I drew go? Almost panicked a little bit because I said, wait, where'd all that stuff I drew go? So move these X's up out of that layer. So move these X's up out of that layer. This is the other frame that I didn't draw an arm. This should be pretty easy. They're both in the same spot. Alright.
This should be pretty easy. They're both in the same spot. Alright.
Let's make this one red. And this one blue.
Let's make this one red.
So I can see him a little bit better on the onion skin.
So I can see him a little bit better on the onion skin.
Alright.
Alright.
Let's see. I didn't draw a left arm on this frame. So let's make it approximately right here. Let's see, is this frame done? How do I want to deal with this? Just make a gap where the hood goes under his hair. I thought I was going to Make his jaw open a little bit more.
Make his jaw open a little bit
to
more.
accentuate the chewing.
To accentuate the chewing.
Does that work?
Does that work?
Alright, I gotta go back to my inking now. Let's see.
Alright, I gotta go back to my inking now. Let's see.
Oh, I didn't do this frame yet?
Oh, I didn't do this frame yet?
This foot is really bugging me.
This foot is really bugging me. This foot is really bugging me.
Just gonna erase this.
Just gonna erase this.
Alright, let's see. Wait a minute. That leg looks weird now. Okay. Oops, that's not what I wanted to delete. This is what I wanted to delete. Actually, not yet. I did not draw this line here. Alright, now I can delete it. Fix this foot, it's just making my skin crawl.